Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you into the studio today. We have a very special guest, none other than WWE superstar Sin Cara. Sin Cara, welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Hey, ¿cómo están? I'm very blessed, very happy to be here with you guys and ready to talk about Lucha Libre and about Sin Cara and about Sin Carita, my son here, that's accompanying me today. And I'm just honored to be able to talk to the people and to let them know what Sin Cara is all about.
Perfect. Let's go down a memory lane. And can you tell us when you first fell in love with Lucha Libre?
I was a little kid, man. The thing that I remember is that ever since I can remember, that's all I wanted to do. It's like my son, you know, he grew up around Lucha Libre. That's the thing that he saw when he was a little kid. And for me, I didn't have a family that there were any wrestlers. It was just that my grandfather was a big fan of Lucha Libre. So he used to take us every Thursday and Sunday to El Josué de Santos in Ciudad Juárez to watch the Lucha Libre shows and then to the small little arenas when there wasn't time to go to the big auditorium. And then I just fell in love with it ever since I can remember. That's all I wanted to do. That was my passion. It was something that just attracted me in every way. You know, the mask, the outfits, the caves, everything that evolved around it was magical to me. And it was like I was watching my heroes, you know, live and present, and I could touch them.
Now going back to when you actually got your start, you know, how difficult was it to move up in the ranks?
Well, I mean, we come from a city or a border town, which I consider El Paso Juárez, you know, to me the same because I grew up in both cities. I was born in El Paso, Texas, but I was raised in Juárez. You know, I used to go back and forth, and obviously as a young man and watching Lucha Libre, and then you see all these guys that would come from other places to become stars in Mexico, then I thought that was what I had to do, you know. As a young man, I was like, man, I have to go somewhere else, and I'm from Juárez, I'm from El Paso, like nobody really, you know, ever did anything back in the day. And then when Eddie Guerrero, you know, came about, then when he started making it big in the United States, and he went to Mexico and then Japan and everywhere, then it was something that I realized, like, man, like, if he did it, why not? You know, why not me? And I started getting myself more motivated and just into the life of becoming a professional wrestler. You know, as a young man, I joined the wrestling team in high school, in Burges High School, because they told me that was the basics to become a professional wrestler. Not because I knew what wrestling was all about in high school. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a wrestling ring and that was it. And I was going to go in and, you know, learn Lucha Libre and I'm good. But then I realized that it was way more different than I ever expected. But I was fortunate enough to be able to have an amazing coach and amazing people around me that helped my process, you know, make it in a way a little easier than sometimes how things may become. But obviously it's not easy to be able to knock on doors and be able to, you know, go to different places where they don't know you, where they don't. None of my family members ever wrestled, so they had no idea who I was.
Mm-hmm. Now going back, can you tell us what was going through your mind when you made your WWE debut? You know.
Well, it was a long road, to be honest. It took me about almost I would say 11 years to actually do my debut as a professional wrestler, because I was wrestling in the independent circuit for almost 10 years, and then I got signed, and then I was in the Performance Center for about a year and a half at FCW back in the day, and when I got called up for the first time, I was like, you know, a lot of emotions came about. Like, I was nervous, and I was happy, I was excited, and I had a dark match, you know, I had a dark match with Justin Gabriel, and it was good. They liked it, and then once that happened, I went back to FAW. I was there for a little bit more, and then they finally called me up to take over Sin Cara as when I was Sin Cara, Black Sin Cara, for the first time.
Now going back, fast forward, you've gotten to travel so much and experience so much, and actually stand next to some of your favorite wrestlers like El Hijo de Santo and Dos Caras. How's that been, you know, being side by side with them at some of these events?
It's like a dream come true. Sometimes I don't take things for granted at all. You know, every time I'm in the ring, every time I'm with my kids, we're having a good time, or when they accompany me to a show, I think it's very important to take in the moment and enjoy it. And for me to be able to be friends with these amazing wrestlers and amazing people that I used to admire when I was a little kid, it's something that is priceless. You know, you can't put a price to that, because I grew up watching Lucha Libre and admiring those people. And then now, like, they're my friends. We talk about life, about other things, not just wrestling, and it's an honor to be able to just tell them what's going on sometimes in your life, besides lucha libre or traveling and everything that we do. But it's just a blessing. And I used to have a dream. I'm gonna tell you a little story. When they told me that I was gonna do my debut, I was like, you gotta look for a name, you gotta look for an outfit, and you're gonna do your test to get your license to become a professional wrestler in Ciudad Juarez. It's like, so start doing that, look for a name, do this. So those 2 months, it was I didn't know what to expect. Like, my mind was going everywhere, my heart, like my emotions were just like, I don't know, I didn't know what to feel, what to think. I was excited, I was scared, I was like I'm not ready for this. So I had these dreams that I used to wrestle in a big tall building, and in the top of the building there was a wrestling ring. But the size of the ring was the size of the building, so if they would hit you, you would fall all the way like 100 floors, I don't know how many. And I was wrestling against El Hijo del Santo. And then later in my career, we have become great friends, and he's one of the people that I talk to a lot and have a lot of connection with.
That is awesome. Now, just this past year, you're selected as the Grand Marshal for the Sunbow Parade. How did that feel when they asked you to become that?
In the beginning, I had no idea, to be honest, what a Grand Marshal was. I mean, I went to the parade when I was a little kid, and I enjoyed it, and with the family and having fun, taking the kids, all this stuff. But I was like, what's a Grand Marshal? Because usually, like, I don't think people, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think people really know who the Grand Marshal is sometimes. I don't remember at all, like, who the Grand Marshal was when I used to go to the parades as a young man. So when they told me, and then they explained to me what it was a special, the guest of honor for the parade, like El Padrino, like the Godfather of the parade. I was like, man, I was excited, I was honored, I didn't know what to think. Like, I come from a place that back in the day, not a lot of people realized that it was so dangerous, that there wasn't a lot of future for a lot of us, a lot of kids that grew up around there, and to be able to be part of this amazing event and be the guest of honor, the main guy in this parade was awesome. I didn't know the magnitude of the parade was, because I've left El Paso and then I came back, and I've been working a lot, so sometimes we don't have the chance to do a lot of things like the normal people, I guess, in a way, get to do. But when they named me Grand Marshal and we had the meeting and we spoke about it, I was stoked about it. I was excited. I was honored. I didn't know what I was like. And then even when it happened, when we were in the parade and we were like saying hi to the people, I felt like it was crazy.
It was surreal.
Yeah, it was surreal. Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. And the thing about it was fun that I was able to share it with my kids, and that's the most important thing. For me, family, my kids, my daughter, my son. He had a great time, and I think for him to see the things that I've gone through and be able to enjoy with me, that motivates him, and I think in a way that he has become a person that wants to do the things that I do. So I'm very careful with the things that I do, because I'm an example in it, no matter what, to him. So what do you think, Sin Carita? What do you think about the parade when we were in you like it?
Yes, it was really cool, and I didn't even know what the Grand Marshal was, the same as my father, but until we got to the parade, I knew what the Grand Marshal was, and it was just really cool to be in the parade. It was my first time ever to be in the parade, and plus, I was with the Grand Marshal, my dad.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Now going back to the awards, just didn't stop there. You're, later part of last year, you were honored in Mexico City for the Paseo de los Numerarios. How was that to be honored in their version of like the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Well, that was even something crazier, I think, because I'm gonna tell you a little backstory about it. Like when I was younger, I went to Mexico to look for my opportunity as a wrestler, and they considered me American. They never considered me Mexican because I was born in El Paso. But when I was in the United States working for the other companies, they would consider me Mexican. So I was like, in a way, like I was stuck in the middle, So when I went over there, it was hard. I never had the opportunity to actually make it in a big company in Mexico because I never got the opportunity for it. So for me to be able to be chosen and be put into this amazing, list of amazing people was incredible. I never thought that would happen. I'm one of the honored wrestlers that has their name and their hands, immortalized in Mexico City, which was a place that back in the day, never gave me really the opportunity to succeed. But I think time and perseverance and having faith and just believing in yourself, made all those things happen. And it was awesome. It was a great feeling. It was a great ceremony. People were, very happy to see me get inducted into the Walk of Fame over there. And I have a lot of pictures of it. Great memories. El Hijo del Santo was my padrino for the ceremony, so that's another thing. A couple of friends of mine were there too. Ángel de Oro, La Roja, they wrestled for Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. So people that I admire, that I love, were next to me, enjoying the moment, and it was just a blessing to be able to achieve something that was in a way impossible when I was a lot younger.
Perfect. Now, the mask. Mexican wrestling luchadors symbolized with the mask. Recently, one of the clubs is in England, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Raul Jimenez. Tell us about that story.
Well, it's just like, I'm just telling you, like Lucha Libre and the mask, I think has become like universal now. It's something that people tend to, I guess, get attracted to. Like the mask that my son is wearing, it's in honor of the Mexican national team when they played last year in the World Cup, Russia 2018, and it just has become a symbol in a way of the Mexican people, of who we are, what it represents. Represents like that we are warriors, that we love what we do, that we just we don't quit, that we that's who we are. And when everything happened with Raul, it happened a couple of years ago, in May of 2017. He was playing for another team, Benfica, which is the mask that I'm wearing now. He scored a goal in the final of the cup over there in Portugal, and he got a mask that he bought online of Sin Cara and put it on to celebrate the goal. So it just became viral. Like my accounts were like going crazy. Everybody was asking me if I knew Raul, and I was like, I don't know. I know who he is, but we don't know each other. So then that's how we came about becoming friends. I sent him a original mask that I made for him when he was playing for Benfica, and then from there he was moved to the Wolverhampton Wanderers, the Wolves. And then a lot of fans were asking me, how come you don't make another mask for Raul, because when he scores he can put it on, and we ended up doing two, one for me, one for him. I ended up doing like a little video, I did a post, and then when he was over here with the Mexican national team, in LA, I shipped it him overnight, so he got it, and then 2 weeks later he scores a goal at the FA semifinals in Wembley, and it just becomes like viral all over the world. It was crazy. It was a Sunday of WrestleMania 35, and my social media was just going crazy again, and it was just trending all over the world. It was amazing. And then I think that made a lot of connection with a lot of people. Like when I got the opportunity to go over there and meet the people and meet the team and meet the fans, it was just amazing. You see this kids, UK kids with a Mexican flag, with a Mexican national team shirt, just wearing sombreros and wanting to be part of our culture. So I think that's something that for me was very it was just great, man. I couldn't believe that that all these kids would admire our culture, and they were admiring the talent that Raul Jimenez puts out on the field, and for me to be part of it, it was just incredible. He's an amazing guy. He's very humble. He wants to do a lot more things. He wants to play for his country and them do well. So for me, it was just a blessing to be able to go over there, and I want to thank the team, the Wolverhampton Wanderers and their director, Lauren. They were just amazing, and Russell. They treated me like a king, man. To be honest, like when I got to the airport, when I got to my hotel, the menu at that stadium for me had my name on it, for the food menu and everything, and it was just one of those things that little things mean a lot. So I understood the magnitude of the love that they have for the mask and for our culture, and I think football and lucha libre have become one, and that unites a lot of people. Maybe you don't know about lucha libre, but now you know about lucha libre because Raul Jimenez wore a mask, and maybe the people that don't know about football, soccer, now know about it because of the mask. So I think the mask represents like who we are. It just unites people, and it's our passion. Has become part of my life, has become part of my son's life. He's 10 years old, and then sometimes when we go do things like this, interviews, he's like, Dad, can I wear the mask? He loves this stuff, right? You like wearing the mask?
Yes.
Why?
Because I It's because my dad's my role model, and when I grow up, I want to be in the exact same business as him.
So
Awesome. Now, how was it feeling when you went out there to England when everybody was wearing those masks? Because I think they were giving them away, right? That
yeah,
just put
they
them on
made
there.
over 20. They gave away over 20,000 like masks. They made like little cardboard masks, and policemen were wearing it. Like everybody outside the stadium, everybody inside the stadium. It was just amazing to be able to see, like what all this has become. And sometimes it's surreal, like thinking about stuff like that, because I never thought I would get the opportunity to do things like that. I was with the team. I presented the team on the field, and it was just incredible. It was a blessing, and I got a chance to do things that sometimes I don't get to do, which is have fun and just focus on having fun. Because sometimes we're always working and doing this and that, which is something that I love also. I love working for the people. I love performing for all of them and making a living of what I love.
Now, last question on the wrestling aspect. What's been your most memorable match so far to date?
I think it's hard to say. Obviously, the first match is always memorable. You never forget that, because that's an illusion that you have, a dream that you have, and then when it finally happens and it becomes a reality, then it's like, wow, it's amazing. And maybe people are gonna think that I'm gonna say like a big stage, but no. And another one was when I wrestled with my son. A couple of years ago, it was his birthday, and we ended up doing a lucha libre show in my house. I put a wrestling ring in my backyard, and me and my son wrestled together against two of my friends here, Fusión and Mini Fusión. We had a so I think for me those two matches signify a lot, because you never know. Life's too short. Maybe one day I won't be here and I won't get the chance to wrestle with my son, but I did already. Even if he was young, but I don't care. We were together in the ring and enjoying ourselves and having a lot of fun.
Now, giving back to the community, how important is that to you, especially coming from here?
It's very important, because as a young man, we need people. We find something that motivates us, something that keeps us out of trouble. In my case, it was wrestling, and I think if I can touch somebody, a kid or a person, that they are going through a lot, and they realize that no matter what happens, that they can achieve their dream just by keep going, and not stopping, then that's a win for me. I think wrestling is important, and I love what I do. Yes, performing in front of hundreds of millions of people. Yes, but then again, like, I don't want that just to be my legacy in the ring. I want it to be more than titles, more than trophies, more than medals, more than anything material. I think the thing that we need to understand is that we have a big platform, and we got to be able to use that to reach those people that need, they need a little bit of motivation to keep going. And for me, coming from El Paso, from Ciudad Juárez, these two cities have been through a lot. No matter what, we're connected, and I think we need to find people that are positive, that want to do something for the city, for the community, and for me to be able to give back a little bit is just a blessing. And I've been surprised of the support that I've been getting from a lot of people, especially in my hometown. A lot of people think that I don't live here, that I live in another place, and no, I live in El Paso. I'm from here. I go back and forth when they fly me out, but I come back. I have a home here. My kids go to school here, My family's here. My mom, my dad, everybody's here. So I love El Paso. I love Ciudad Juárez.
Perfect. We're here in the studio with WWE Sin Cara, talking about the Lucha Libre pop-up exhibit and the streetcar ride-along. How did that come about?
Well, that came about through a friend of ours, El Simi, Jesus Alvarado. He's a muralist. He's one of those people that wants to showcase our culture everywhere, through paintings, and that's an art that has become maybe a little bit extinct, and I think he has become a little more noticeable to people now, And I was able to be a part of a mural that they did here in El Paso, the most influential people, and I was part of it, and it was just amazing. And every time I pass by there, it's like, man, I'm there. No matter what happens, I'm there. I'm immortalized. So then the people from Tracy Jerome, she wanted to talk to me. She's the director of the Museum of History here in El Paso, of tourism, and we had just had a meeting. I didn't really know what we were going to talk about. I had no idea what the meeting was about, and we had a meeting, and we We just talked about different ideas and things that they wanted to do, here in El Paso, if I was interested, and then everything came about. I think we connected a lot of things that we wanted to do. She has a passion for El Paso, for making things work, for making things better for the community, for the people, and I told her, you know what? Did you realize that El Paso, the roots of lucha libre in Mexico, the roots come from El Paso? A lot of people don't know this. In 1929, Salvador Lutero, who's considered the father of lucha libre in Mexico, came to Ciudad Juarez. He was working for Hacienda for the Mexican IRS. They invited him to watch a wrestling show, in El Paso, Texas, at the Liberty Hall. So he goes to the show, and then from there he gets the idea to take it to Mexico. So the idea of him taking it to Mexico and becoming what it is now came from El Paso. So when I told her that, she was like, really? She was like surprised, and we spoke about it a little bit, and I told her yes, and I would love to do something here in El Paso, that has to do with lucha libre and getting lucha libre out there so that it doesn't die. There's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of lucha libre shows here in Ciudad Juarez, little arenas, and it just has become something bigger than us, and I want that to keep going. So I want to be able to show people like my son and my daughter and other kids that never had a chance to watch maybe Rockstar or Cinta de Oro or Flama Roja or El Legionario, El Cobarde, El Legendario. I can just go on and on the list, and I'm just talking about the guys from here, So can you imagine that? So that was my focus, and then they told me about the streetcar. That they had a new streetcar in El Paso, and it's like, do you remember about it? Yeah, when I was a little kid, there was one, and then it went away, but I never got a chance to ride it. So they told me they'd done a new one, and I was like, can I ride on it? So I asked to ride on it, and then everything came together. So now we're doing this amazing thing, the Lucha Libre exhibit combined with a streetcar. We're gonna do 15-minute rides. It's gonna be 4 rides, 5:30 to 6:30, and we're gonna ride with the people. And I'm gonna let them ask me questions.
Perfect. And also the little pop-up exhibit. It's your personal collection. I guess this is gonna be a preview to what they're gonna have in opening 2021. I'm being told.
Yes, this is just a little taste. This is just a little taste of the things that I have, and I want people to see, that there's a lot of things that we value that are still out there. Sometimes you don't realize the amazing things that people collect, or the things that are still out there. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have the mask of Eddie Guerrero has Black Tiger. I'm going to showcase that, and I have some KO magazines from the 1950s and some pictures and like a little bit of everything. They took a little bit of exhibit. It's just a little taste of what we want to do in 2021. I want to do something bigger, have a bigger collection of art and magazines and programs and trophies and outfits and all kinds of stuff. So I want to invite everybody to come out and enjoy themselves, and have some fun and just, take in the culture of what we have here in our border town.
Perfect. And the streetcar ride along begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. At the Franklin and El Paso streetcar stop. After that, Sin Cara will be taking autographs and pictures for a little bit, and then 7:30 is when the exhibit will officially open. And Sin Cara, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the people know that the pictures and the autographs, it was done through a reservation. You had to call. At first it was 30 people, but then we ended up moving up to 100 people because I was blessed enough so that people could, kept calling and wanted an autograph, wanted a picture. So we ended up moving it up to 100 people. So the people that called, it's only going to be 100, and I just want to apologize to the people that, that they're going to be able to do that with me. But we're going to have other things later on. This is not the first thing that we're doing or the last. We're gonna have come up with a lot more surprises and things that we want to do for the community here in El Paso. And my son's gonna be there. He's gonna rewrite it with me. You're gonna be signing autographs?
Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Where can people follow you on your social media pages?
Well, my social media, my Instagram is @SinCara WWE. On Twitter is @SinCara WWE, and Facebook is @SinCara. Everything is verified. Also, follow my son. It's @SinCarita. He has, a few followers also. People love what he does, and I just want them to. I told him, let's do one for you so you can follow your journey. People can follow your journey as you step by step, go through life. I never had that, so I want him to remember all that and have all those memories.
Perfect. For more information, you guys can go to the El Paso Museum of History Facebook page. And like I said, tomorrow, the street card ride along and the pop-up exhibit begins at 5:30. Sin Cara, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Wish you the best, amigo.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, El Paso. Thank you, Ciudad Juárez. See you guys tomorrow.